Oh, I haven't ran this in a while. Yeah, how's the audio balance for people? Is it fine? Is it too loud, too quiet? Is audio out of sync? I'm kind of assuming it should be fine because it's the same settings I always have, but you never know. Also, I need to change my title. Here we go. So this is Wonderful Life. This is another game where the main categories are marriage categories. I say another game, like, interesting enough, Back to Nature's main category is more 98% than is any of the marriage categories. Like, I think 98 currently has 3 runs. I think the marriage category that has the most runs in Back to Nature only has 2, and I think it's the Ellie one. Yeah. But yeah, the Wonderful Life doesn't really have a 100% category. It kind of has it has an any percent, but it's like, it's not popular. Like, there's one run on the leaderboard of it, and it's basically the run you get if you just go through the whole game sleeping and like don't have any influence or anything. So yeah, so for this game, marriage runs are a lot more popular. And this is the quickest of the marriage categories. Marry Muffy. And all the different like marriage categories are luck based for like in kind of like different ways. And Muffy's kind of interesting because Muffy, it's a lot easier, I feel, to get to the end of the run consistently, but there's no guarantees that you'll actually finish the run. I mean, okay, you could say that about Celia as well, because you can like consistently get to the end of a Celia run. It's just Muffy, you can kind of get to the end of a Muffy run consistently at the same like length of run. Whereas if you can get like certain things that happen or don't happen in a Celia run, which means you can still make it to the end of the run, but you'll have lost like 5 minutes along the way. Where that doesn't really happen with the Muffy run. With Muffy, you just kind of go for it and then see if you've actually made the run by the end. As you can probably tell, or guess at least, marriage in this game works very similar to many other Hearthstone games in that you give them gifts and that's that. You give them gifts and then you propose. But the difference from this one and the one I was just doing in Back to Nature is you don't actually have to get like any house expansions or anything like that. So the way hearts work in this game is you start off with all the bachelorettes on green hearts, and then you get them to 1 red heart, then 2, then 3, and then 4, and once they're on the 4, if you propose to them, they'll accept your proposal and you'll get married to them at the end of the year. So that's kind of different because in Back to Nature it's like you start on a black heart, then you go up to purple, then blue, then green, then yellow, then orange, then red. And this is one of the few games, or Harvest Moon games at least, where there's pretty much like no information about it on the internet. So a lot of games like Back to Nature have been like opened up and looked into, and like, you know, everyone knows exactly how much affection each heart level is and how much affection each item gives, and you know, and all that kind of stuff. That is not the case for this game. This is like, you know, the Wild West of Harvest Moon in this, like, it's, you know, who knows how it works really. But you can kind of tell how it works. There's like, so, yeah, and it hasn't stopped me from creating some form of system, of like point system. It's just not 100% accurate, and it's almost definitely not how like the game has actually been like programmed. We're going to start the run by milking our cow, because so you can give Muffy milk in this game, and the milk is worth half a point. And because like my point system in this game is done on a much lower basis than it is, so I was talking about in the Back to Nature run that, like, you know, a gift will be like worth 1,500 points and stuff like that. It's probably closer to working like that in this game, but you know, we have no idea how it actually works. So it is more just of a point by point basis. Ahaha! So that was Van's skip. So when Van sets up his market stand, that costs you about 5 to 10 seconds, which is very bad. But you can actually skip it by you can skip that whole cutscene by taking out or putting something in your rucksack just at the right time. And Muffy actually being outside of the bar on the first day is actually quite good luck, but in a strange way, because so when Muffy's in the bar and she's not behind the bar working, so when she's in the bar but not working, you can talk to her, and at some point if you talk to her enough, she'll say something along the lines of, "Oh, why are you here?" And you have to say something, and you're given 3 options, and one of them is something along the lines of "to see you," and you have to select that option, and you get a point. So obviously when she's not in the bar you can't get that point, but you save so much time just from her not actually, like, just from her being much closer and not having to go through various loading screens and stuff like that, that it is actually faster for her to not be on the bar, or to not be in the bar on that first day. So here we've got the first cutscene. So all of these cutscenes, with the exception of Celia's 4th cutscene, which is a very special exception, is worth, all these cutscenes are worth 1 point. So ideally you should only see 2 cutscenes in a Muffy run. There is a 3rd one that you can get, which will, like, if you get it, it will only ever happen at the end of the run, and it pretty much kills the run because it, like, costs you a bunch of time. But the good thing about all of Muffy's cutscenes is you can just, so during the cutscenes little options appear, and you have to select like the right option in order to actually get the point. And the good thing with Muffy is all of the correct answers are just the top one. And I'm also giving her this record because it's just another free point. So unfortunately the farm will be a bit quiet because that's what makes the music play on the farm, but it's worth it for that extra point. And when I'm giving her a flower, you might notice that there are 3 options instead of the normal 2, and that's because when you give Muffy a flower, she says, "Is this for me?" And you have the option to say yes if you want it, or no, and it defaults to if you want it, which if you select that, it only gives you half a point. Whereas if you select yes, it's worth a full point. So now I'm off to the mine, and the reason I'm off to the mine is because, so the way sleeping works in this game is you sleep in increments of 6 hours. You don't just wake up at the same time every day unless you get the alarm clock, which you don't get until year 2, or chapter 2, or, well, both. So if I were to just sleep 4 times now and sleep a whole day, when I would visit the bar, Muffy would be working, and you can't give her any presents while she's working, so that wouldn't be good. If I were to only sleep 3 times, I'd have to wait until 10 o'clock for the bar to open. So what I'm doing now is killing time so that when I sleep 3 times, the bar will be open by the time I get there. And the reason why I spend this time at the mine is because you can dig up items that you can also give to Muffy for extra points. And I've actually picked up every single item, or the 2 items that, or 2 of the items that you can't actually give to Muffy, or you can attempt to give to Muffy, but they don't raise affection with her. So I'm looking for either the coin or the moon ore, and nice. So the best case scenario is getting 3 of the same item. So if I were to get 3 coins or 3 moon ores, that would be like the best case scenario. I think any after 3 is pointless. I think if you get 4, you don't end up actually you're not able to use the 4th one, I don't think. So, and this is actually really bad at the moment because I haven't gotten a single item I can use. So I actually have to. I'm staying in the mine a bit longer than I really should be, and I really need this to be an item that I can use. Okay, that's not brilliant, because I spent a bit longer in the mine than I would have liked to, and I only got 1 item to show for it. So it's actually quite interesting because so there's a chance if you go to the mine that Carter just isn't in there at all, and you need to talk to Carter in order to actually start mining. So if he isn't in there, you can't mine, and it's actually faster. It's actually a better result if he isn't in the mine at all. Then if you go to the mine, he is in there, you start mining, but you just don't dig up any items you can use. Because if you start mining and you, I'm assuming even if you dig up nothing, you'll still have to watch this cutscene. It'll just be a slightly different version of the cutscene. But you watch, there was that cutscene where he says, "Oh, what did you dig up?" And you show him an item. If you don't actually go to the mine at all, or he's not there so you can't go mining, you obviously don't have to watch that cutscene. So you get the same result as if you didn't find any items that you could use, but it's faster because you don't have to watch various cutscenes or talk to people. Even finding 1 item isn't brilliant though. Because now I need to rely a little bit on second talking points. So the talking points that I mentioned earlier, where Muffy's in the bar, and you can get an extra point of affection by talking to her and choosing a specific option. You can actually get 2 variations of that in a day. There's one where the option you're supposed to select is the top 1 out of 3, and there's one where the option you're supposed to select is the second 1 out of 3. The one where it's the second one, or the one where you're supposed to select is the second one, is what's known as the second talking point, because it's a little bit more it's a little bit rare. It doesn't always happen, but it does still act as another point. So what am I on? I'm on 5, I think. Yeah. Okay, so there was both of the talking points.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm on 9.5. The next heart is at 11. And luckily, by the time that I go back to my house, go to sleep, and then return to the bar the next day, it will also be 11 o'clock, which is what time you need it to be for the next cutscene to activate. So the fact that I actually spent a little bit extra time in the mine isn't necessarily terrible, because of the fact that during the blue feather split, I actually need to wait until a certain time period anyway. So if something happened like Carter wasn't in the mine at all, and so there just wasn't a way to spend the time, I'd get to the bar basically as soon as it opens, but then today I would want to wait until 11 o'clock, like no matter what happened, just to get the cutscene. And then the day after, I'd want to wait until 12 o'clock to get early blue feather, which I'll explain in a bit. So part of that means it's a little bit of like a kind of fake time save, because or time save or time loss. So I imagine part of that time loss is like real, but then part of it is also just because I spent a bit of extra time in the mine when I'll save that, so then I'll then save that in a bit, or in the next split. And the fact that Muffy was at the back of the bar is really good luck, because this means I might not have to go to the other room. Okay, yeah. So being able to like completely like get all of the points of affection with Muffy without having to go to that back room at the end of that cutscene is really good. Because after that cutscene, she always spawns in that room, but then she always immediately goes into the back room of the bar. And if you have to follow her into there, it does cost a little bit of time. Okay, so now I'm waiting until 12 o'clock to get early blue feather. So what early blue feather is in this game you don't buy the blue feather, you get given it, and you always get given it on the 1st of summer. But the time of day you get given it depends. So if the first time you wake up on the 1st of summer is between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m, you get it during then. If the first time you wake up it's after 5 a.m, then what happens is you don't get it during like that time you wake up. You then get it 2 sleeps later, so you get it after 5 p.m, I believe. So what would then happen is so if you did that, you'd get the blue feather at like 5 p.m, and then at that point that's already 1 extra sleep than you would do if you got blue feather early. But then you'd also still have to do 3 more sleeps, I think it would be, to get to the point at the time of day, so that you can actually propose to I almost referred to her as Popri, so that you can propose to Muffy. So if you don't do early blue feather, you end up having to do 4 extra sleeps, and so it's 4 extra sleeps or wait like about half a minute. So it's much faster to just wait that like 30 seconds than it is to do the 4 sleeps. So how many points am I actually on? I was on 9.5 going in. Cutscene was 10.5. Milk was 11. 2 talking points is 13. Plus the flower is 14. 14 is not a great place to be on, because I've been on 14 before and not been able to finish runs. So I would much prefer it if I had like an extra item at this point. So if I had like another item at the mine, I would have, like I'd give that to her today. But yeah, we'll see. Because so to get Muffy on 4 hearts, it's somewhere between like 16 and 18 points. Like when I first routed out this game like 3 years or so ago, or 3-4 years ago now, however long it was like it was like 15, 16. But basically like somehow since then, it's kind of like gone up, and it's now like somewhere between 16 and 18 points you need to get her on. So yeah, so being on 14 going into the final day is a bit risky. But we'll see what happens. I guess this is one of those cases where I could like try to finish the run just by getting like both talking points. Which can being 50 seconds ahead, I could definitely try, I suppose. Because that's the thing, right? I had 3 seconds of time save in this split, and I could potentially save more, but that would only happen if this. So basically, there's only like 1 day of befriending her left. It's like, so it's just like, it would be like, so to get like a gold split in it would have to be a day where she's walking outside of the bar towards my farm, and it would have to be a day where I only have to like give her like 1 gift. So I guess like I think if she was outside and walking towards the farm, if I was like able to like successfully finish that split with it happening like that, I think that would be a gold no matter what. But that 3-second time save is just from giving her, is if I just give her a coin and then immediately propose after. So considering I definitely won't be able to do that, like if I just give her a flower, like that won't be enough to be able to successfully propose to her, then yeah. Then so like I definitely won't save time in this split. It's just now more a matter of, can I avoid losing so much time? Which, okay, well I'm going to basically just go for everything. I'm not going to play it risky. I honestly can't guarantee that'll still then work. No. Oh, fuck off, Gustafa. I'll just melt into you. So yeah, I have no guarantees that this will still work, but let's hope so. Oh shit. Oh shit. This is a long cutscene, but this will definitely PB. This is like 100% a PB. Oh god. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be sub 25. Yeah. Oh my god. That's the first sub 25 run of this game, of this category ever. The world record was 25:02, I believe. Yeah, it's 25:02 by Endless Nightmare. And I just got a world record. That's amazing. Because it was only like a week or two ago that I took back my Celia world record that I haven't held for like 3 years. I guess that's why you don't play it risky, you play it safe. Because then you go immediately from third place to first and you get the first sub 25 run in this category ever. Oh my god, that's amazing.